This is week 11, where we have our final SQL project where we do the last bits of CRUD, the update and delete portions. So first we start off with editing our operation list. We added option 4, which is update project details. And then we added case 4 to our switch statement with update project details, had Eclipse make that method for us. Checked if the current project was null, and if it was, we prompt the user to select one and then just return. And then here we have our getters. For each field in the project object, we print a message along with each current setting in the current project. So each setting meaning project name, estimated hours, actual hours, difficulty, and notes. Create a new project object. If user input was not null, then we add the value to the project object. If null, we add the value from the current project, and we repeated that for all the variables. Then we call this method in project service, modify project details, passing in our project object. So we had Eclipse, again, auto create that for us. So we'll look at our project service, modify project details, passing in the project object, and we call project DAO modify project details, which will give a Boolean that indicates the update was successful. If it wasn't, then there is no update and does not exist. And so we throw an exception and we explain to the user what's happening here. All right, now we're going to take a look at Project DAO, where we made that Boolean method SQL statement that updates our table with all the variables and having that placeholder, the question mark for each. We try our connection, we start the transaction, we have our prepared statement as usual, and we set the parameters. And we call the method execute update. It's one of the SQL built-in methods that checks if it exists, and if it is true, and if it does, it saves to a variable. And then we commit that transaction. We catch an exception. If we have that exception, we roll back the transaction as usual, and we return that modified variable that we got right here, which is either true or false. Okay, so finally, we're going to start a test for the update functionality. I'm going to go into projects, run. I think we have 2 projects right now. Yep, we're just going to try and update project details without selecting a project ID. Should give us an error message, should give us an error message, and it does. You are not working with a project. We're going to select project by ID, so option 3. We're going to choose 1, and we're going to look at that a little more closely because we're going to update the details. ID 1, get groceries for barbecue, estimated hours 1, 2. Actual hours, difficulty 3, get gas before leaving. Now we're going to update project details, so we're choosing option 4. Okay, so now we'll see if that actually updated. Okay, so here I just wanted to show a error I was getting with the project DAO. I was getting a parameter error, and I had apparently only added 4 of these parameters and I missed one, so I just wanted to point that out really quick before we continue. The next stage is the D in CRUD, where we are able to delete a project table. So I added delete a project in the list, added it to our switch statement, and then create our methods. I think the next step was to run it with an invalid project ID that we want to try to delete. So we'll run as a Java. We will list our projects. Right now I have 2 be deleted. So 4 would be an invalid, or okay, 5, delete a project, 5, and we're selecting the ID 4, which does not exist. And we handled that exception gracefully. What's next? All right, so now, since I've already made the project delete a project, we're going to actually try and delete it. So 5, enter the project ID, and this time we are doing 3. So it says it was deleted successfully. Let's just make sure it actually was. 2. And yes, to be deleted was deleted. And I think that's everything for this video. Thanks for watching.